Today we are going to discuss about bi-connected components. Already in earlier class we gone through the connected components. Connected components means considering a single connection from one vertex to another vertex. Whether we can remove that connection, automatically the number of vertices become independent or trivial components. Next, and connected components can be always identified in the graph using the breadth first search traversal. Next, coming to bi-connected components. Bi-connected components means the components which are connected dually with one another with a dual connection. That is bilateral connection having each vertex connected with more than one edge. That is nothing but if we remove one edge, automatically we can traverse the other node through the another edge. So bi-connected component means if we can remove any path within the graph, alternatively there may be another path available to traverse the destination. So those are called bi-connected components. So here when we are comparing connected and bi-connected components, connected components means starting traversal in a graph and identifying either vertices or edges in the graph by considering edges only, not vertices, whether there is a single connection or dual connection. But here when we are coming to bi-connected component, we have to concentrate on vertices, not edges. Here we have to check only the vertices. If the removal of any one of the vertices, whether that can divide the graph into partitions or not, we have to check. If we can remove any vertex in the graph, automatically the number of other paths or edges available from that vertex to other nodes, those are also eliminated. Then automatically the graph can be divided into partitions. But in bi-connected components, removal of vertex should not divide the graph into number of partitions. Then we can call it as bi-connected graph. Here, coming to the definition of bi-connected components, basically it is a graph theory. A graph is bi-connected if it contains no articulation points. A component of a graph G is maximal bi-connected subgraph. That means it is not contain any larger bi-connected subgraph of G. That is nothing but here a graph is bi-connected if it contains no articulation point. Here articulation point means center connection. Center connection to any one of the vertices that are connected in the graph. We can see in the next example what are the bi-connected components in the graph. By removal of that, how can that change the graph structure? So this is the definition of the graph. A graph is bi-connected if it contains no articulation point. But we can see what is an articulation point, how the removal of articulation point can change the graph structure. So here see the example. Articulation point. Let G be a graph, a connected undirected graph with number of vertices V and number of edges E. Here we can define an articulation point. An articulation point is any vertex of G whose removal results in a disconnected graph. Disconnected graph means when we are removing that point, automatically graph is divided into two partitions. That is disconnected. So here you can see in this example, there are number of articulation points in this graph. So see here, when I am removing this edge, automatically the graph can be divided into two. So this is one partition and this remaining part is another partition. So this is the articulation point. And similarly, when I am removing this node, automatically graph is divided. These three are one connected components, and the remaining these 6 are another connected components. So that vertices are called the articulation points in the graph. So see here, the articulation points are highlighted with a color. So here, when I am removing this one, automatically the graph is divided into 2 partitions. So this is one partition and this remaining set is another partition. And when I am removing this also, the graph is divided into this one and this one. And when I am removing this also, the graph consists of 3 vertices in one and 6 in another one. So you should carefully check which node removal can divide the graph into partitions. Those are called articulation points. So here you can see the example. A graph is biconnected if it contains no articulation point. When I am removing any one of these articulation points, the connected components, number of connected components that are reproduced from the graph, those are these nothing but. When I am removing this, automatically I can get this one. When I am removing this, I can get this one. When I am removing this, automatically we can get the remaining set of vertices. These are the number of connected components we can get when we are removing any one of the articulation points in this graph. So this is the biconnected components. But here, which searching method we can use for finding biconnected components or articulation points in a graph? So identification of articulation points. Keep track of removal a vertex from each subtree. That becomes too expensive, and also the time complexity for evaluation of this articulation point removal, that takes order of V plus C. That is here where that you can divide the graph into subgraphs. So we have to find those vertices, so that can take the time of order of V plus C. Another method we are using for finding the articulation points in the graph, that is nothing but depth first search traversal. To find the articulation points in a graph by using the depth first search algorithm. So next we can go to classification of graphs into different categories: pre-edge, back edge, forward edge and cross edges in a graph. So here you can see what are the conditions when we are considering the biconnected components in a graph. Consider an internal vertex U. How can we find the articulation point? That is the procedure here. If that is not a leaf node, then assuming it is not the root. So initially here U is not the leaf. So here this is not the leaf, and assume it as the root node initially. Root node means that is the main node. If that is not having any parent, assuming it is not the root means that is having another vertex. So here you can see in this example, we are considering a connection from U also, because we are assuming U is not the root, there is another parent to U also. Let V1, V2, etc. Vk denote the children of U. Each is the root of a subtree of DFS. So here the number of vertices here we are considering. These are the children of U. These triangles are children of U, and each is the root of a subtree of DFS. So these are nothing but root of another subtree of DFS. If for some child, if there is no back edge from any node in the subtree going to a proper ancestor of U, then U is an articulation point. That is, if for some child, take any one of the child in this graph, there is no back edge. No back edge means no other alternate path from any node in the subtree going to proper ancestor of U, then U is the articulation point. So we are considering U is the intermediate node, not the root. So here you can take a child in these 3. From this child, except the path from U, if there is any other path available, for example, you can take the first one. from this triangle, if they are from this node, if there is any path available to the ancestor of u, we are considering this is not root, means there is a parent to u. So to that parent, if there is a path from this node, then this is not, then u becomes the articulation point. If there is no path, if there is a path, then u is not the articulation point. Means if this node is connected to the ancestor of u, removal of u cannot disturb the graph. That is, from this node there are two paths, one to u and another one to the ancestor of u. If I can remove u, I can traverse this ancestor from another path, then removal of u cannot divide the graph into two subgraphs. So this is here we are stating. If the removal of, that is, there is no baggage from any node, if there is no baggage to ancestor of u from this triangle, then u is the articulation point. If there is a baggage, then u is not the articulation point. That means if any node is connected dually with two different paths with two nodes, those are nothing but parents, then one intermediate node removal should not divide the graph into different components. So that is described here. So see here, this is connected to ancestor of u, and this is also connected to ancestor of u, and this is also connected to ancestor of u. When I am removing u, these three may be connected to these two, then u is not the articulation point. So automatically these three are not divided components. These three can exist as it is in the graph. Removal of u cannot divide the graph into two components. After removal of u also, the graph is single. So u is not the articulation point. If there are no paths, that is, there are only single connections from u to these three, there are no connections from ancestor of u to these three, then u is the articulation point. So a baggage from every subtree of u to proper ancestors of u is existing in this graph. So u is not the articulation point. And next, a leaf is never an articulation point, because removal of leaf should not disturb the tree. Because leaf should not have any subtrees, and also leaf is not any ancestor to any other nodes. And next, root. The root is an articulation point if and only if it has two or more children. So root can act as an articulation point if that contain the subchildren and also single connection. If the subchildren are not having dual connections, then this is articulation point. So see here, root has no proper ancestor, and also there are no cross edges between its successors. Then this is the articulation point. So here see the example. This is the articulation point because there are no ancestors to this node. If I am removing this, the graph is divided into three components. If there is an ancestor and these three are connected to that, then this is not the articulation point. And next, using DFS for calculation of, that is for articulation point calculation. So define initially, that is an array of vertices in the graph, initialize law of u. Law of u equal to minimum distance of d of u, because always you have to start in DFS from leaf node. So which is the leaf node or minimum distance node in the u set, then you can assign as the starting node. And next select another one, d of u, where v comma w is a baggage from v, is a non-proper descendant of u. So take another one which is the ancestor of u, not the descendant of u. Then take an edge from that is u to v to w is a baggage of v and is a non-proper descendant of u. That is nothing but selection of ancestor. And next initialize law of u equal to d of u when a new back edge is detected. So initially you can assign an edge to the ancestor, that is the initial one. And if there is dual one, then you can consider that is not articulation point. Dual one with the ancestor not to that node. When a new edge of V is detected, then you can calculate the new minimum. Then tree edge U comma V equal to, which is the minimum, either law of U or law of V. So once law of U is computed for all vertices in this graph, we can test whether a non-root vertex U is an articulation point. So here, after calculating all the low value, then you have to check for each vertex whether it is an articulation point or not, except the root and leaves. Intermediate nodes only the articulation points. So U is the articulation point if it has a child V for which law of V greater than or equal to D of U. That is nothing but here law is minimum distance. Here if this is law of V is greater than this one, means that is the ancestor, and if that is not having any back edge, then automatically that is an articulation point. So this is how we are calculating the articulation point from using the graph. So here we are starting from A and calculating that. If we are getting any value greater than that one, automatically that becomes an articulation point. So here B is the articulation point, because removal of B automatically divide the graph into two. If there are these star dotted paths are not available. If the dotted paths are available, B is not the articulation point. Next, coming to the disjoint sets. Disjoint set. In a faster implementation of disjoint set, we represent sets by rooted trees with each node containing one member and each tree representing one set. That is, each node containing one member means initially you can construct disjoint set, means all the elements in the set are independent of one another and also individual components in that set. In a disjoint set, each member points only to its parent. The root of each tree contains the representative and is its own parent. That is, each element is connected to another element only. When we are dividing that, automatically those can become the partitions. There are no multiple connections. We can call those as the disjoint sets. An algorithm that use this representation are no faster than linked list representations. Here we are using two different types of heuristic algorithms for disjoint sets. First one is the union algorithm or smart union algorithm. Second one is the find algorithm. Union algorithm is always used for construction of a set from disjoint set. Find algorithm is used for finding or searching an element in the given set from either any one of the either root or from the leaf nodes. So these are the two algorithms, union find algorithm or union algorithm and find algorithm. So smart union algorithm. The unions in the basic tree data structure representation were performed arbitrarily by making the second tree a subtree of the first one. That is nothing but union means combining the nodes with one another and constructing a relationship. So initially, when we are considering the first set, that is disjoint means elements are independent of one another. If the elements are independent of one another, then how can we construct a graph? So for that one here, we are considering a union operation performed arbitrarily on disjoint sets by making a second tree which is a subtree to the first one. So here we are considering tree means individual subcomponents in the set. So you can add each subtree to the initial one and grow that until the set is empty. That is the main theme of this algorithm. We can call this approach as union by size. That is, by size means adding how many number of elements per iteration. The union is performed. Check the size and make the new size as the sum of the old. Thus, union by size is not at all difficult to implement and requires no extra space. So here, already we are calculating and adding the elements depending on the size of the existing disjoint set. So, number of iterations performing and increasing the size of the element list in this construction of graph, that may not take the size greater than the disjoint set size because number of elements are from that set only. So for that one, this is fast and having the average time complexity. So the average time complexity for this one is order of m, average time union by size operations. This is because when random unions are performed, small sets are merged with the large sets through this algorithm. That is nothing but individual element sets are combined with the initial sets. Initially, all are independent, and when growing, we are merging the existing intermediate iterations with the newly subset values. And so here, this is the example for union algorithm. So first, initially we are considering all the elements are independent, and result of arbitrary union means, and next we are simply attaching elements one by one, initially 8 with 7, and next adding 7 to 5, and next 6 as another child to 5, and adding this subtree to 4, and again you can add 4 to 3, and again 3 to 2, and again 3 to 2 1. That becomes a complete connected graph. So here, but when we are constructing graph, always we have to follow the rules. That is here after this is the first iteration, that is after 4 iterations, and next when we are adding, you have to check always in the graph or tree, always the left nodes are less than the root and right nodes are greater than the root. So here 4 is less than the root, so you have to add 4 as the left child, and you can add 3 to 4 because 3 is also less than 4 and also less than 5 should exist left to 5 and also left to 4, and next 2 left to 3, and next 1 left to 2. So this is the algorithm, a small algorithm for union. So here union of x comma y, link find set, that is union is recursively calling the find, because here finding the element, comparing the element with the root, and next attaching the element or unioning the element to the parent or the intermediate node. So here link x comma y after finding. If rank of x is greater than rank of y, then p of y equal to x, that is nothing but parent, else p of x equal to y. So which element should exist as parent and which element should exist as child, that depends on this condition. If rank of x greater than y, if x is greater and y is less, then simply parent is y and child is x. And if else, if x is less and y is greater, then parent is x and child is y, because you have to check always right elements are in the right subtree. When you are expanding, left element should be less. So if the element is less, that becomes the parent. If that is greater, that becomes the child. If the rank of x is equal to rank of y, then rank of y equal to increase the rank value. That is, you can add the similar nodes to the same one. That is greater than and less than or equal to, 2 conditions. So find problem. The find set procedure is a 2-pass method. It makes 1 pass up the find path to find the root, and second pass back down the find path to update each node. First one is finding the root to attach, union the element, and second one come back and compare the elements. These are the 2 approaches to find problem. So union by rank or path compression or find, both are same, improves the running time of the operations on disjoint set forest, and the improvement is even better when 2 heuristic methods are used together. But we cannot prove it, but if there are n market set operations and at most n minus 1 union operations, and find f find set operation, that is the number of operations we are performing, those are n minus 1 union, and f find, then the heuristic alone takes the time complexity, running time, that is omega of theta of n plus f minus 1 plus log 2 of plus log 2 plus f by n comma n. So this is the time complexity for evaluation of both combined union and find operations for construction of a set or a tree from a disjoint set with the combination of union and find. Initially you have to perform find and next you can go for union operation. Find consists of two operations. Check the element, that is the find the element and compare the element, and next union that element to the parent, that is combining that element to the parent depending on the comparison result. So this is the union find operations. So here when we use union by rank and find together, the worst case running time is order of m, alpha of m comma n, where alpha m comma n is a very slowly growing function and the value of it is derived from inverse of Ackermann's function. Ackermann's function is a two-argument function which is defined as follows: as a non-negative integers. For non-negative integers m and n, you can take any two variable values to the function. A Ackermann function of 0 comma n equal to n plus 1 iterations, and Ackermann function of m plus 1 comma 0 equal to a of m comma n. And already I have told initially, that is in first class, when we are calculating the number of iterations for a loop, internal loop evaluations can take m steps, but loop can be iterated m plus 1 times. So similarly here, if the value of m plus 1 is passed, the number of values m internal calculations, because the last iteration is not allowing execution, that is a termination. And next, a of m plus 1 comma n plus 1, this is self loop iterations when we are considering multiple set of combinations recursively within one another, that is when we are considering a for loop within another for loop nestedly, then you have to recursively call the number of iterations, m plus 1 outer, n plus 1 inner. Then you can assume m, if this is single loop, if this is multiple loop, you can call recursively the same function with n values. So its value grows rapidly even for a small inputs. For example, a of 4 comma 2 is an integer of 19,729 decimal degree. So how can we calculate? Means here in this manner you can calculate 2 power, the value is 4, 2 power 2 power 2 power, but here this is represented in this manner, that is, but actually this is 2 power 2 power 2 power 2 power 2 4 times. So automatically that we can get this value. So the number of iterations here we are considering 3. So the actual value we are passing m equal to 4, n equal to 2. Then you can apply this and recursive, that is iterated when until n, that is 2 becomes 0, we can go to the second one. When n becomes 0, we can go to the first one. Then we can terminate. When n becomes 0, when m becomes 0, we can get the value 2 power, that is exponentiations 4 times, 2 exponentiation with 4, that is 2 power 2 4, and again 4 power 2 16, and again 16 power 2, and again 16 power 2. That is the multiple exponentiations derived minus 3 performs. So this is how can we calculate the